¿Qué pasa, manadita? Aquí estamos de regreso después de mucho tiempo. Estuvimos un poco ausentes, pero aquí estamos nuevamente con el honor, con la emoción. Estoy bastante emocionado. Tenemos esta vez a Steven Juliano from I Am Ghost. Steve, how are you doing, man?
Doing good. How you doing, man?
All good, all good. Thank you so much for accepting this episode. I'm really excited. Back in the days, you guys, Avenged Sevenfold, My Chemical Romance were my soundtrack, my daily soundtrack, man. This is such a huge moment for me. Thank you so much, man.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me aboard.
Yeah, how have you been, man? What's new?
Doing good. I live in Santa Cruz, California, which is a small little beach town, about an hour south of San Francisco, right on the beach. It's beautiful today. Not a cloud in the sky. It's good. It's a nice Saturday morning, and good to have some cup of coffee and talk to you about random music and art and everything, I guess, right?
Yeah. We have a lot of topics right now. I've been preparing this episode like for forever now.
Oh, cool.
So I want to talk about music right now, man. How do you think is the current state of music? Rock music, metalcore. Do you like the scene? Do you like the industry? How is everything working with Spotify, with touring, the actual music world?
Well, it's funny because when I talk about music now, I don't want to sound like a boomer or somebody who's like way old, and because everybody says, oh, when I was young, music was better.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that's necessarily true, but I do speak to a lot of bands that are still touring and are still, doing it. And I know that they were doing it back when I was doing it, and they're still doing it now. And the commonality is that they're saying that the music industry is very tough right now. Touring is really tough. It's so expensive. To get fans to show up to shows is very hard. When I did it back in, if you want to go on the I Am Ghost route, like 2005 and 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, that area, you can easily just burn some CDRs, show up at a show. This is before we were signed to Epitaph Records. You would just burn a bunch of CDRs, go to a punk rock show, wait till the show got over, and just start handing them out. And it was very organic. Kids would, go to their cars, play the songs, and then immediately by the next show, you would just see the fan base growing. And I just feel like nowadays it's very hard because I don't really know how musicians promote their bands anymore besides using social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. But you're not really reaching out to them physically, personally. You're kind of just I know a lot of artists now and bands that are in my genre, my friends they're doing a lot of ads, placements, and they're like, they spend all this money and they're like, it doesn't even work. And I'm like, I know, and I feel like I'm very blessed to be in that scene that you grew up in. I feel like it will never happen again. It was such a cool time to be in a band. It was the 2005, 6, 7, 8. So many good bands, so many good shows, so many good tours, so many good music videos. And I still listen to punk metal. I listen to everything, but when I'm in my car, I tend to listen to a lot more older stuff. I'm not a huge fan of the new stuff, mainly because I feel like it all sounds the same. I can't distinguish a lot of the bands now because to me they have the same openings, the same kind of, the singers all sound the same, the guitars sound the same, the breakdowns sound the same. When I was in the music industry, back in those days, everybody just seemed like to have their specific sound. Like when you heard Avenged Sevenfold, you knew it was Avenged Sevenfold. When you heard Atreyu, it was Atreyu. When you heard My Chemical Romance, when you heard I Am Ghost, when you heard Silverstein or whatever, all those
AFI, don't forget about
AFI, you just were like, okay, these guys have their own little like
style,
bubble, but it was so cool. Now I honestly I can't tell. I'm not being a jerk or anything because I think music is music, and if you like it, you like it. But it is hard for me to get, and also I'm older. I'm not in my 20s anymore where I'm totally just consumed by music. I listen to music, but definitely it's a different time. I think people tend to say, oh, back then music was great, but you also got to say too, you're also probably 15, 16 years old, and that's when, you know, you're youthful and you're going to rock shows and you don't have a care in the world, you don't have a job yet, you're not married, you don't have kids, so life is, you know, a lot more fun. But yeah, the music industry is crazy. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not doing it at the moment, because I feel like it's very it's a very tough road.
It is a really tough road, mainly because you know, the internet and Spotify, all that. It's a really democratic, you know, platform, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna make things easier, because anyone can be on Spotify right now. So you have to have really good reasons to be outstanding from all the other projects, right? And it's not enough having the money to promote your own project. I think it's a really difficult platform now for newcomers, for new bands. Don't think I'll ever see a scene, a so vast and rich scene as the 2005 to 9.
Yeah.
You know, like I think
it's definitely oversaturation. It's an oversaturation of bands. There's thousands, millions actually, of bands on Spotify.
Yeah.
And not to change the subject, because we can go back to this, but now that there is this onslaught, because I've just been researching this and reading up on it, but the onslaught of AI, fake AI music, it's now destroying the Spotify. It literally is gonna. I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but in another 10 years, I don't know what's gonna happen with the music industry, because right now it's thousands upon thousands of AI bands music is being uploaded a day to Spotify, and so you're just oversaturating the market, and it's just, if you want to find the coolest new band from your hometown, it's just so hard.
It's so hard. It's like the last nail on the coffin, no? Like these AI artists, if we we allow this to happen, I don't know, man, maybe the industry is gonna be dominated by AI artists in 5 to 10 years. Who knows?
If you would have told me just 5 years ago that you're able to go on a website and just prompt punk rock band in the vein of Green Day and then type some lyrics out and just boom, and in 5 seconds it will create a song, 3 minutes 30 seconds punk rock song, with guitars, drums, bass, vocals, backing tracks, everything, and it sounds pretty good. I mean, not to be, it sounds.
Do you really think that? I think the AI songs.
Well, not like sounds good, like meaning like it's good songwriting, but it sounds like real drums. It sounds like real guitars.
Like the production, like the production is pretty decent.
The actual music. The music's crap. It's all crap. Anything like AI artwork, anything is crap. But again, it's just this is brand new territory if you think about it. I mean, this is like under 3-4 years. Give it another 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, imagine what it's going to be like at that time. So
yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. We can't. We don't have enough information to predict those kinds of things, but we'll see. Okay. Yeah. Now, I want to talk about the massive project, man. I mean, I Am Ghost was. I couldn't stop talking about your band, man. I mean, I wanted so bad to be like you guys. It was such a big moment for me as a musician. It's one of my biggest inspirations as an artist, man. So how did I Am Ghost happen? How was the beginning? Like from rehearsing in a garage and then signing to Epitaph Records, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, record label for alternative music right now. How was that journey, man?
I always tell people, I get asked that a lot. I always call I Am Ghost a lightning in a bottle, because it will never happen again when it comes to any project I do, because everything just fell into place perfectly. And when I say that is that I've been playing in bands since I was 19 years old, and I've been in ska punk bands, I've been in punk rock bands, I've been in metal bands, and for I don't know, a good 8 years before I got signed to Epitaph and started I Am Ghost. So after my band before I Am Ghost, The Silence, broke up, I just remember going, you know what, I'm gonna do this one more time. I'm gonna try to be in a band and start a project, and I'll give it a few years, and if it doesn't work out, then I'm gonna go back to my animation roots and go back to a movie studio and, you know, draw cartoons for the rest of my life. And so I gave it one more chance, and I just remember going on back in the day MySpace and just doing a quick little ad, you know, post, hey guys, I'm looking for a new members for a new project, and I remember immediately getting a flood of messages from musicians, and I remember just for some reason everybody that was going to be in I Am Ghost kind of just stuck out, and I don't know why, because I got hundreds of replies. And when we practiced in the studio, what I call the studio was my garage in Long Beach, California. It was like we sat there and I think we wrote 2 songs that became on the EP in that first practice. I think we wrote We're Always Searching, and we wrote Eulogies and Epitaphs in like one practice. And then it was funny because Brian, who was the bass player, when he was trying out, I wasn't even looking for a violinist. I mean, it wasn't like I didn't like violins. I love orchestras and I love classical music. But he got driven by his girlfriend, who is, you know, later Kareth. She was in the car, like waiting for him to try out, and he just randomly was like, "Hey," after we practiced, I was like, "This guy's awesome." He's like, "My girlfriend's in the car, and she brought her violin. Do you mind if she comes in and just jams with us?" Like,
wow,
I think we had like another hour. We were just like kind of just hanging out afterward. We weren't even like, it was just like, all right. And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, that'll be cool. And she had like an actual violin, not an electrical violin. You plug in like a real classical. So she comes in. She was really nice, and you put a microphone to it, and we went, hey, let's do that song we just wrote, We're Always Searching, and we did it. And she started playing, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, that sounds actually really cool.
Yeah.
And I didn't think she was gonna join. I was like, I asked her, I said, you should be in the band. I was like joking. And you could just tell at the time she was kind of like, yeah, whatever, I don't know. Like, I think she was going to college at the time. She was focused on her school. But then, you know, after that happened, Brian was like, yeah, we'll meet up again. We'll practice, you know, let's keep going. And then he hit me up a couple days later, and it was like, yeah, my girlfriend, Kareth, really wants to try out again and join. And I was like, wow, okay. And then, but when I say lightning in a bottle, it was just one of those things where every musician brought the most perfect aspect of what we wanted in this band. Gabe and Tim, they brought the metal that I always wanted in my music. They were just metal shredheads, and they were young. They just graduated high school, so they were all 17 years old when they joined.
Shout out to Tim Rosales the third. He's awesome,
yeah,
man.
He's a shredder. Yeah, they were so young. I couldn't believe it. I was a little hesitant actually, because I had never played in a band with musicians that young, and I didn't know if they were gonna have the you know, understanding of how important it is to like be on time, practice, and you know, this and that. And another thing too that was cool about this band was I explained to them the vision that I had for I Am Ghost. I was very like stern about it, because in all my past bands it was always like 5 guys, and they all looked different, and they all played different kind of music, and it was fun, but the music never really kind of connected, because we were all kind of like we were all just all over the place. This band, I was like, all right, we're gonna dress up, we're gonna have the aesthetics of like something no one's ever done before. Our music, down to our stage show, down to our clothes, down to our makeup, down to our music videos.
The whole thing, you know, like visually, like the sound, like the concept, like the lyrics, you know.
Yeah, if we either gotta all be on the same page, or we're not gonna do this. And everybody was like, yeah, that sounds really cool. And so the thing, again, I go back to revert to lightning in a bottle, is that this never happens in bands, because I've been doing it for so long, because I can actually say this. we practiced, and all of a sudden we got hit up by a management team who was managing at the time a band called Tsunami Bomb. I don't know if you remember them. And they're a big punk rock band in around that time in the U.S. And they wanted to put us on some shows, and they had us open for the Tsunami Bomb at this really nice theater, the El Rey Theater in Los Angeles, which is massive. And we opened, and I mean, our first show ever was probably 800 people, like sold out show.
Wow.
And so we were like, yeah, it was funny because like the guys were so young. Tim and Gabe, they didn't like even know how to do a sound check. It was hilarious. They didn't know what the monitors were supposed to do and this and that. And I thought we had a good show. And then we played another show. And the second show we opened for a band called Take the Crown and Capture the Crown, I think it was called. And at the Glass House in Pomona. And so again, it was our second show, and we had one of the reps from Epitaph Records was there to check out another band that was playing that same show. They were there to scout this other band they've been hearing about, not us, but they saw us play, and they were like, wow, this band that just opened the show just killed it. And so Epitaph Records then sent a whole scout team to our third show, and the third show, the Troubadour in Los Angeles. And it was funny because our management team at the time, managers, they had Epitaph there, they had Fearless Records, we had like 4 different major labels, and they all came up to me after the show and were like, give me their card, and like, we want to sign you. And again, I've been doing this for close to 8 years, and no one ever wanted to sign my other bands ever. Like, we tried so hard to get signed, and all of a sudden now I'm in this band, and the third show we have like legit bidding war. Like,
it happened so fast, right?
So fast, like, I couldn't even believe it. And then I remember getting a message on MySpace from Brett Gurewitz, who is basically the guitarist of Bad Religion and owner of Epitaph. And I thought it was fake. I thought I was being punked, because it was this long email on MySpace written to me saying, hey, this is Brett Gurewitz, owner of Epitaph. I really love your band. I have your demo. We want to work with you guys. We want to sign you. Please call me. Please, like, almost begging. And I was like, what the? And at the time, I was like, I hit up my management team, and I was like, is this real? And they were like, yeah, that's Brett Gurewitz. So I was like, what the? And I gave them the number. They called me back a little later, and they were like, yeah, that was Brett. They want to sign you. And, we did everything just by the book. We promoted our butts off. Like, we burned like 5,000 CDRs. We would like gather all our money for each week. We'd all give money, and then we'd go to like the nearest Best Buy or whatever was available at the time, buy all the blank CDRs you can get, go back to my house, and we have like CD burning parties. We'd all sit around, and I had little machines, and we just burn CDs of the EP and put like a flyer for our next show into it. And we would go to like every punk rock show in Orange County. Like, when I say every, I'm not even joking. We'd split off. Like, I would go to one show, the other, and we would just hand them out. And then by the time we played our first hometown show in Orange County at Chain Reaction, we sold it out. So it was our first like local show to sell out, and that's when all the labels were like, what is going on? This band, no one even like knows who they are, and they're bringing 600 kids to their shows, and the kids are not just sitting there staring at them, they're all singing along. And you can actually YouTube it. If you ever go on YouTube, you can just search I Am Ghost's first show ever. It's like insane. You would think we were a band for 10 years.
I've seen that video. It's insane for our first show. I mean,
their first show, I couldn't believe it.
It was a phenomenon.
So we're gonna see you guys in a town near you. We got signed to Epitaph. We decided to go with Epitaph. We had some other options, but that is how we physically got signed. And from after that, it was just like a blur. It was like a legit blur after that. But that's how we physically got, to be I Am Ghost.
Awesome, man. Speaking about Epitaph, I I know you. I knew you guys from this song "Killer Likes Candy" back in the MySpace days, and it blew my mind, man. I've never heard something similar to that.
Yeah.
I was shocked. How was it like to work with Elvis Basquet for Lovers Requiem? How because you've been recording in the studios a very long time, right? How was the experience of being in the studio working with?
That was
with
one of
Elvis?
the funnest times ever because we were Epitaph had us go to Virginia Beach, which is completely on the other coast of the U.S. So we drove all the way from California to West Virginia, and he had a recording studio on the beach, like his own recording studio. Like you literally look out and there's the ocean. I mean, his own like private beach.
Awesome.
And he was awesome. Like he was, I mean, if you look at his discography of like all the bands he recorded at the time, it was like down like Smashing Pumpkins to like Stone Temple Pilots to all these massive bands, and we were like, what is going on? And we recorded for almost over a month at his recording studio. We lived there. The studio house had like 4 or 5 bedrooms, and we would literally get woken up by him, like, all right, guys, wake up, let's go. Let's walk out of the bedroom, go into the main studio, and start tracking. And he was so cool. Like, the thing I pride ourselves about I Am Ghost is, like, we did things our way. Like, it wasn't like Elvis was an amazing tracking guy and a producer. He definitely told us, hey, change this, do this. But I do believe the majority of the music we had already written in demo format was pretty much how it ended up on the album. I mean, he's the one that made it sound amazing. But a lot of bands will come in and a producer will just completely rewrite everything for them. That wasn't necessarily the case. We were always a weird band, and I knew it, like, going into that. Like, we weren't, like, I'm glad, like, people like you loved us, but I'll be honest, there was a lot of people that didn't like us because we were so weird. Like, we didn't fit into, like, the bubblegum pop, punk, emo rock scene like other bands.
And
like
orchestrated, you know, like you were like emo, metal, some classical
Gothic,
influences.
Everything, yeah. We were very strange, and like it was almost like you had to have a little more of a more of an open mind to listen to I Am Ghost. If you're very like closed-minded and just like your certain genre, then you probably didn't like us. And that's like for any band. Like there's no band in the world that everybody loves. Like there's always the biggest band in the world, you're gonna have haters that hate your music.
It's okay to have haters, right? Because if everyone loves you, it doesn't have you this space of I don't know how to call it, authenticity, you know? Like it's I think it's a good thing to have some haters right there.
Oh yeah. And then you got especially when you get signed to a major label, you have to kind of stop going on the internet and looking. That was the first thing our manager said to us, like when the album was about to hit stores. She's like, don't go on the internet. Don't look at reviews. Don't look at comments. She's like, just go on tour and have fun and just play music.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We didn't give a crap about anything about reviews. And the reviews are mostly really good. Like, I'm not saying we had like crap reviews, but like majority was like really positive. But again, it was a different time too. Like we would just got in a van and trailer and just we played so much. Like after the day we finished tracking the last song of the Lovers Record album, we got in a van and drove a couple hours and started Warped Tour for 2006. Awesome. And we were on the whole Warped Tour. So
That's where you met The Used and My Chemical Romance?
I met them. I was in a band called The Silence. The Silence, we had a pretty big following locally. And there's a picture of me with Gerard and Bert. They're like holding me up. That was a Warped Tour, I believe, Ventura, which is in Los Angeles. The Silence played. We played the main stage that show. And it was cool because Kevin Lyman, you know, we were playing the really small stages for most of that tour. I think it was 2004 or 5. And then he liked us enough where he bumped us to the main stage. And that was when we walked off the main stage. I was friends with Bert and Gerard at the time. They were so happy that we got to play the main stage.
I can see in the picture.
We worked our butts off. I mean, we were again up before anybody, putting our posters everywhere. I mean, literally the Warped Tour was like everybody was still asleep on their buses, and we were up 5 a.m. just because you had to get your prime spots for your posters of what time you're going to play and this and that. And so anyways, yeah, that was, again, I've been doing this for a long time, so I have,
Steve, I was about to ask you about Elvis. Do you think he's a perfectionist, a really demanding producer? How was that part in terms of work? How much did he demanded about you in the vocals? Because Lover's Requiem sounds perfect, man. I mean,
I've never tracked vocals as intense as he does. We would do each basically part and then cut to the next part. All right, take a deep breath. Now do this part. Now do it again. And then we would just like double it, triple it. He would do a lot of takes. And but it's funny because he was definitely demanding. He was definitely perfectionist, but he never felt while doing it like you were being yelled at, or you never felt like he was being aggressive or mean to you. You just knew like this guy wants this to sound good and do it again, And he was also funny as hell. Like he would crack jokes and say funny things to like lighten the mood. But it's, as a producer and you're getting a bunch of money from a label and they want a good album, I mean, it's probably really stressful for him as well, Yeah. Especially I can just tell too, we had a lot of discussions, late night discussions after recording. He was just like, this is a very hard band to track. You guys are very hard. He's like, I'm not used to I'm used to like bands like Stone Temple Pilots come in with just 4 dudes and a guitar, and it's very simplistic music. If you really like listen to their music, it's nothing major. And you come to I Am Ghost and we have guys shredding the lead line. Timmy's doing the lead line while Gabe's doing a fucking another lead line, while Caravan is going crazy on the violin, and I'm doing screams and singing, and there's triple harmonies going on in the background. Then Brian's playing like a piano line, and then Ryan Seaman on drums is doing this like crazy blast beats, and it's just a hard way of tracking, because if I do this wrong, it'll just sound like a bunch of jumbled bullshit. So it was, especially a violin, it's very hard to figure out how loud the violin should be in a metalcore band, how much reverb to put on it, this and that. But he did great. I mean, when you listen to it,
I love the album, man. It's my easily top 5 in my whole life, man. It's a great rock album. What's your top 3 favorite tracks of Lover's Requiem?
I think number one, obvious for me, it's just has a lot of memories. Is This Is Home. I know it's like more our love ballad.
Really? It's a really more calm song.
This Is Home. I just something about it. I don't know what it is. When I listen to it, I still have like goosebumps sometimes when especially when Timmy's like solo comes in towards the middle. Timmy's solo is so epic, and then Kara's vocals and all that stuff. I think that's like the song that we just mesh like perfectly with all our talents. And then Our Friend Lazarus Sleeps is a cool one, because it's just I just think it's just punches you in the face. It's like 3 minutes long. It's short, and it's just boom. This is who we are. It's very punk rock. It's more punk rock, I think, than anything on the album. And then there's one. I'm trying to think another one. I think Lover's Requiem, the physical Lover's Requiem track too. It's just sick. I just love how Parrot sings her parts, and the way she could hit notes that I couldn't do. So it was cool. We kind of had our little. She would do the highs and I would do the mids, and then Brian would do the lows, and it just we had this crazy like boys. I call it boys to men. Like we just perfect 3-part harmonies, which a lot of bands don't do because they can't do it.
Yes.
And if they do it like in the studio, but then you see them live, you're like, no one does it. We did it live. Like if you watched I Am Ghost live, when Kareth and Brian were in the band, I mean, it was just like the album. I think.
You did 3 harmonies, right? Like the main one, the lower one, and Kareth the higher one.
Yeah,
it sounded amazing, man. I love this song. I mean, Killer Likes Candy. It's if you know I Am Ghost, you know that song. But I think the most underrated song of the project, of the whole band, it's Dark Carnival of the Immaculate, man.
Oh yeah,
that's amazing. It blows my mind. The bridge, like this, like a solo, a 3 harmonized solo with violin, 2 guitars. It's violent.
And what's funny is that we would do that live. Like if you watched that song live, Kareth would go next to them, and they would shred. It was also like I call it like a battle. They were battling each other.
Yeah.
And it was cool because no one did that. No one had a violin and was doing guitar solos like the guys that were doing.
I've never heard that anywhere in any band. I've never heard that in my life, man. You did something really special there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now about main difference about the first album, then it was Those We Leave Behind. The second album, what do you think it was the most difference, like the concept, like the because Lovers Requiem is a really conceptual album. I didn't see that so much in Those We Leave Behind. I think it's more like individual stories, if I'm not wrong. It's also really cool, but how was the process?
It was definitely completely different. When Kareth and Brian were in the band, we decided, we even had storyboards. Kareth had storyboards, and we'd map out each song. It was legit rock. It was a legit rock opera. Like it began and ended, and everything in between. But after they left the band, we decided after that, we just started touring a lot without them. We were on tour for a good 1.5 years straight. I mean, we were legit playing 300 shows a year without them. We were just jump to tour to tour to tour, be home for 3 weeks, back to tour for 2 months, home for a couple days, back to another tour, go to Europe for a month, come back. And so we didn't have a lot of time to sit in the studio and go, all right, let's write an album, because we were kind of caught off guard. We were in Europe, I think, for a tour, and we got a message from Epitaph saying, hey guys, where's your next album? And we were like, what? We actually hadn't written any music, to be honest. We were just playing songs off Lovers Requiem. So immediately after that, we told our management team, don't put us on tour anymore. We need to come write an album. And it was the first time being in the same studio, but without Kareth and Brian. And then we lost Gabe. And so we had Timmy still, who kind of kept the metalcore. And we had a few new members. We had Justin and Chad. And it was just a different, I mean, again, and Ronnie Ficarro on bass.
Ron Ficarro, yeah. You share a lot of, I think Ron Ficarro and Ryan Seaman, you share a lot of members with Falling in Reverse.
Yeah, they were in Falling in Reverse for a while. Ryan was the original drummer, and then he was in that band for like 4 years. And then Ronnie joined Falling in Reverse for bass for a while. Ryan's not in the band anymore. I know Ron Ficarro's in Mammoth, so he's killing it right now. We started writing, and we didn't really want to do another like rock opera because we just honestly didn't have enough time. And I don't want to blame Epitaph or blame our management team, but I do feel like that album was rushed because they were like, we need an album, and we need it soon, and we hadn't had any songs, so we sat. And we were just, and when you have the pressure of like, write another album right now, and we need demos in 2 months, like if we don't get demos, blah, blah, blah. And we're just like, oh my God. And so we sat there and we just wrote, but it was very like
stressful.
Stressful. And when we wrote Lovers Requiem, it was very kind of just, we were excited and we had no pressure. And we were just like, everything was just fun. And Those We Leave Behind was very, I think I could tell this story without bumming out my other members, but like it was very dark times for me, at least. I was just so sad that we had lost Kareth and Brian. I really wanted that aspect again, but it just wasn't going to happen. I didn't want to have to hire like another violinist because it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
You know, there are plenty of female violinists out there, but they're not going to do what Kareth's going to do. And there's a lot of other, you know, shredding guitarists out there. But the thing is, Chad was an awesome guitarist, but he came from a completely different background than Gabe. Gabe was like metalcore to the metalcore, and Chad is more rock. He likes rock music, you know, and some punk. But the album definitely jumped to a different style, and I still like a lot of the songs on that album.
Yeah.
But it definitely was a different time. It was a different, stressful. We were all burnt out. We were touring constantly. We were never home. I think we just got back from a European tour. We did 52 shows in 52 days. I didn't even have a day off. And as a vocalist, you need a couple days off here and there. Yeah. And I got sick on the tour, and I don't know, we just got back and all right, now go in the studio and write. And it was just like, oh my God, it was just hard. It was really hard, but you know, it could have been worse. I mean, we're writing another album for Epitaph Records.
Do you think that was, you know, those We Leave Behind was the beginning of the end?
Yes.
Totally.
100%. Like we all like knew what we wanted to do. We wanted to continue playing I Am Ghost, but you know, the shows were always fun. We always had a good time. The shows were, you know, still pretty big. We were still going on Warped Tour. We were still going to Europe, and we had a huge fan base in Europe. It's funny, I almost feel like we were bigger in Europe than we were in the US, because we played like all our shows to sell out in Europe. We had, you know.
Maybe it's the orchestral part. Yeah, they love
I don't know.
that.
I just think they're into like that kind of music more than that at that time. They're very into like the epiccore, like big bands, like in Europe. I think that they're a little more open-minded than a lot of I mean, we did a lot of weird tours too. Like we would go on tour with like Strung Out, you know, total awesome punk rock band, but they are punk rock. Their fans are not our fans, and we go on tour with like the Chariot and total hardcore, like screamo breakdowns, all they do, and all the Evergreen Terrace is on the tour, and we're like, always searching, and people are like, what the fuck is this, like, you know. So we paid our dues. We played with everybody. We didn't care. We just wanted to play music, and but yeah, it was getting to the point too. We were just always stressed out. We were, you know, when you're touring a lot and you're missing birthdays and funerals, and you know, I was in tour when my grandma died, and I was in Florida, and I couldn't go to her funeral because we had a massive tour. Then my uncle passed away from cancer on another. I was in actually, I remember I was in France. I got the phone call from my mom that my uncle died, and I couldn't go to his funeral because I was on tour in Europe. And then friends would call me like, hey man, I'm getting married, like I want you to be my best man. I'm like, oh, I can't, I'm in tour. You know, like, that after a while, like when you're young and that stuff's happening, you're kind of like, whatever. But after you've been doing it for 5 years, and you're kind of like, wow, my best friend just had a baby, and my girlfriend, I haven't seen her in 3 months, and this and that. You're kind of like,
you saw the dark parts of being a rock star in this second album, like missing out a lot of your life, and that's the how you are telling me this is like Lovers Requiem was the explosion, the euphoria, you know, and Those We Leave Behind was the a really dark part of this life, right?
For me, it was. I mean, I don't want to speak for Justin or Ronnie or you know, Tim, or Chad. I know we did have a lot of great moments. We had a lot of fun. I mean, like again, we played some great shows. We put a lot of sick ass festivals and this and that. But I was definitely on a different, like, and they all know this. We've had discussions. They knew there was something wrong with me. Towards the end, I became very what's the word, they would do interviews without me because I didn't want to do them. I would stay on the bus or stay in the van. I was very they would go out to get dinner, like we be like in Greece, you know, again, who plays Greece, like we're in Greece, and I'm like, I don't want to go out, I want to stay in the bus. And I would stay in the bus and like be all sad, and they'd be like having fun, going around exploring the, you know, everything, and they just started noticing that I was kind of just very staying away from everybody.
Yeah.
And depression is a real thing, especially in music, and especially when you're on a van, you're in a bus and there's alcohol everywhere, and people think like you're this rock star, and everybody, you have lines out the door and kids want to talk to you and sign autographs. But it's actually one of the most like loneliest feelings I've ever had. Like I felt so lonely, like being on tour. Like I just didn't want to talk to anybody, and definitely Ronnie and Justin and everybody knew that something was going on. And that's when if you want to get to the very end, that I just couldn't do it anymore. And that's when I contacted them all via email one day, and I was just like, guys, I can't do this. I don't want to do it span anymore.
How did you deal with the world, man, when your social energy ran out,
Yeah, it was crazy too, because it wasn't it was kind of out of the blue, meaning like they knew that something was wrong with me, but they also knew they didn't think I was going to quit, So they when I told them, they were all surprised. They were like, "What?" Because we still had a third option for Epitaph. We still had we had 3-album deal with them, so we still had another album to do.
I was about to ask you that. Did you have any material for the potential third album, or not really?
We had some demos. Yeah, we had a bunch of demos written, but I don't think I was very excited about the demos. I think the demos were like something I was really like excited about. I might have stayed and done a third album, but I don't. I just, again, this had nothing to do with them. They were all like great guys. This was all on me, and I just didn't want to. I didn't want to do it anymore. And people ask me all the time, like, why? Like, and then after that, you started these other bands. I'm like, yeah, but those were for fun. Like, I did start bands later, like Requiem and My Mortal Enemy. But those were never bands where I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back and tour and I'm going to make it. Like, I went back to a normal job and I started doing graphic design again and animation. And that was just something I did for fun. Those were just like, all right, weekends, let's go practice, have some fun, maybe play a show here and there. But I never wanted to like physically do it again like I Am Ghost. I Am Ghost was like the cream of the crop. And I kind of wanted to leave on a high note too. I didn't want to like just keep playing shows for the rest of my life and I'm Ghost and just
Do you think that's the reason why projects like The Silence, like I don't know if The Silence is on Spotify on platforms?
I don't believe so. No.
No. Yeah, you don't have
on YouTube, but like that's about it.
Yeah. Also, and Requiem for the Dead, My Immortal Enemy, they're not available on platforms anymore.
No, we did all the music ourselves and we would put it out ourselves. And then after a while, you had to do this like monthly payments or whatever yearly to keep it on Spotify and all that. And I was just like, you know what, these are just, I just don't have the energy to like keep up to date with all those bands. And I know Requiem is still up because we were signed to a small Cleopatra Records in LA. They put it out for us, but so I know that's still available. Not Requiem for the Dead, but just Requiem. Requiem for the Dead was the original band name, and then we got rid of For the Dead because we just realized it was redundant. Like Requiem means music Requiem, for the dead, yeah. So we were like, let's get rid of that. But yeah, it's the same band. It's just different. We just got rid of the end. But
shout out also to Ty Oliver. He's a homie too.
Yeah, Ty's a great guy.
I think he's playing for Powerman 5000 right now.
I think he's playing for Orgy now.
Oh, really? Orgy. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, so also the Malediction, man. What happened to that track? It's a really good track. It's not available anywhere.
That was a Japanese release. So basically, if you bought the album in Japan, the Malediction was the extra song. They do that a lot. Epitaph will do albums overseas in other different countries, and they'll add a special song. And so they added that as the bonus track. And it's funny because if you get I have it somewhere, but it's the I Lover's Requiem CD, but it's all in Japanese, and the back is all in Japanese, and it has like, it's a little different artwork. It's still the same, but they put their little spin on it. But the Malediction is added as like a bonus, which is I wish I wish it was released on the main, but they do that for all their bands. They always keep one song, they take it off the American track, and they put it on an exclusive somewhere else. And it's funny because in Japan we're on it. It's actually, we're on Sony Records in Japan, so it was like a Sony release. Epitaph is for US. I think
awesome.
Europe, it might be something else. I don't know.
Do you
It's very
have
strange.
all these limited edition articles? Do you still have them? Some of them?
Like newspaper stuff, like.
No, I mean like the Japanese version of Lover's Requiem.
I have a box somewhere of like tons of old I Am Ghost stuff, like merchandise we had, and totes, and maybe a album here and there, but I don't have like a lot of stuff, to be honest.
Yeah, it happens, right?
Oh,
Like it gets lost over the
Yeah. After a while,
years.
you just gotta put it away.
Steve, thank you so much. We're entering into the final topics of this episode. It's a great one. Thank you so much, man. I've been having a great time. Okay. Moments, man. Like maybe. Oh no. Also, top 3 of your songs in those we leave behind.
Those will be behind. Let's see. The music video song.
Saddest Story.
Yeah, Saddest Story Never Told. Is one of my favorites. I'm always a sucker for like slower ballads, especially if it's like a metal album. I just think those stick out a lot more. Don't Wake Up, which is the first real track on the album, and so I guess This Is Goodbye is another one.
Those 3. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Those it's just they're fun. So I guess This Is Goodbye is just a fun song live, just like, and it's simple, and it's just 3 minutes 30 seconds, and it's just one of those like fun
straight
songs.
to the point,
Boom. Yeah, very My Chemical Romance-y.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun. It's a fun song.
I loved those really behind the self-titled track. It's a banger, man.
Yeah.
It's like not much like a banger, more like a metal breach, brutal. Yeah. The most metal part of I Am Ghost. I love the track. I don't know, A Smile of a Jesus Freak. I'm also a sucker for more, more violent. Not in the metalcore part. Albums that
if you listen to that album, it's definitely
heavier.
It's definitely heavier, and you can definitely tell by the way I'm singing that I'm just like pissed off, and people think, oh, it's just like he's just like, it's just because that's how the songs are written. But I was like in a dark time, so when you hear me, like I sound angry because I was angry, which I think makes a good album,
It was a darker album, and Burn the Bodies to the Ground, man. Also, that one. I mean, it has a really good heavy tracks. It's less commercial. It's a different album. I wouldn't say it's a different band because your voice gives the whole vibe. It's like I don't think the vocalist is the most important member of a band, but it definitely defines the essence of the sound.
Yeah. No, shout out to like Ronnie Ficarro and Timmy and Chad. Well, actually, I don't believe Chad wrote on that album, but I know Ron Ficarro wrote a lot of songs on that album, and Timmy wrote a lot of songs, and Justin was always there. The drummer was always there to track us in his studio and get the demos done, and so those guys put their blood, sweat, and tears in that album, and I did the best I could vocally, for writing lyrics and stuff. So it was, it wasn't like bad times, but it was just different. It was a different kind of like, feel album wise, Yeah.
Have you ever imagined how would have it sounded if there was a violinist on those Will Leave Behind?
I always think about like, what if like, Kareth and Brian didn't quit, or, Gabe didn't leave. Like, I honestly do believe probably would have got more epic, it probably would have been, you know, kind of like a Lover's Requiem Part 2, but even more. We probably would have, I mean, we had discussions about it, like bringing in even more like orchestras, bringing in maybe a cello player, bringing in more pianos, more, just getting more even more epic to a point where almost like because we always had a dream of like playing clubs is cool, like playing clubs to like 800 people, but we wanted to play arenas. We wanted to one day be an arena band, and I thought our music was a really perfect kind of arena band style, like if you know, if it would have taken off the way we wanted to, like in a second album, third album, but that's the direction we would have gone. But when we lost them, we kind of decided, you know what, let's just get back.
What did they leave? Did they leave for creative differences?
Kareth left because it was just touring wise, she just didn't like touring, to be honest. This was her first ever band. She did classical music as a violinist in orchestras, but she never was like in a van and a trailer and with a bunch of dudes, and, you know, getting no sleep and traveling, you know, every night to different cities and having to deal with the drama of being in a band. And when she left, of course, you know, Brian had to leave because they're married at the time they got married. They were just actually newlyweds. So I totally understand why he left. I mean, you know, he wanted to be with his wife. So it wasn't like, you know, they left because they hated all of us and they hated the music, or people think that's why. It was just kind of like this. I Am Ghost blew up so quickly and out of the blue that we were all caught off guard. I luckily though had been in bands my whole life, so I understood sleeping in a Walmart parking lot, you know, in a van, or eating fast food every day, or having to deal with like, you know, backstage and some other bands smoking pot in the next room, and there's drugs and alcohol everywhere. Like I never got into that kind of stuff, but I knew it was a part of the scene. I don't think Kareth and Brian were ready for that. I don't think they liked it, which I totally understand. They're very religious people. They were very, you know, their beliefs in Christianity, I think, was one of the biggest reasons why they just didn't want to do it anymore. And I totally understand. Like, it's a hard road. People think being in a band and touring, especially touring in tour buses, is like the greatest thing ever, and why would you ever quit that? And like I tell people,
it also sucks. Like, it also sucks.
It's fun for there's certain aspects that's amazing, but there's also some really shitty things that go on.
And mentally, right? And mentally, it gets to you. It's like, okay, even if you're having success, it gets to you like, what am I doing with my life, man? I'm like, it's a lot of doubt.
Once you make it, you're kind of like, there's nowhere else to go, because you dream, especially being in a band and you're not signed and you're playing these like small coffee shops, or you're trying to just get anybody to show up. You dream of being on Epitaph, and you dream about being on a tour bus. You dream about headlining Bamboozle Fest or Warped Tour, and then once you do it, there's nowhere else to go but down. Like, people think like, oh well, you know, you really have to, like,
facts.
That's what happened to us. Like, we were headlining Warped Tour, we were doing this and that, and then we were just like, well, what do we do? Like, you know, my best friend just got married, and my sister has a kid, and I don't even like see my grandparents anymore, and this and that. And you're like, I would love just to be home and take my own, sleep in my own bed and see my girlfriend. And, you know, it especially if you're doing it for years upon years. And that's why so many bands break up. Like, we're not the only ones that have done this. Like, we're just a long line of bands that have blown up and then disappeared. And people always wonder what happened to them and why and this and that. And I'll tell you, I could tell you right now, every single band that's touring right now is just one show away from breaking up. It's just, I guarantee, I know them. I know most of the bands that are touring, or I know a lot of them.
Gente, qué felicidad, aquí estamos nuevamente. Oigan, ¿están cansados de las mismas canciones? De esas que nomás hablan de estupefacientes, muchachitas operadas y demás cosas y camionetones. Chequen Underground Hitmakers en el Spotify. Los mejores artistas y bandas de la escena underground en el Spotify. Les dejo el link en descripción para que no se lo pierdan y nos vemos muy pronto. Hasta luego.
For example, Avenged Sevenfold, you know personally the guys from Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah, Matt and all those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how do you think they managed to keep on balancing the personal life and the band life? It's a really complicated life.
I can tell you right now, the reason they're still around is because they decided to take like 5 years off. If you didn't know, they disappeared. They did an album and then they didn't play a show or a record for almost 5 years.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
And they just did their own thing. They got married. They started other companies. They just lived life, and then they decided, we're not broken up, but we're also not getting back together anytime soon. And then they came back recently and did that new album, but they don't tour as nearly as they used to. I mean, I think that's a good thing to do. Maybe that's what I Am Ghost should have done. Instead of me breaking up the band and quitting, maybe I should have just told the guys, hey, I need a year off. I need to just go and hang out with my girlfriend and go to Europe, but on my own terms, and go on vacation and go visit my family for a year, and let's meet back later. And maybe that's what we should have done, but I didn't go that way. I decided
you did great things, man. I mean, the legacy of the band is amazing. I mean, Lovers Requiem, that's, if you haven't released Those We Leave Behind, just with Lovers Requiem is a huge legacy, man. You did there something the scene, the world never heard in their life, But yeah, you had potential to be one of the biggest bands of the world, man. But I don't think that's important, I think the parts that endure over time is the music, man. It is that.
Everything happens for a reason, Like if I didn't end the band, Ronnie wouldn't be in Mammoth, and Timmy wouldn't be doing what he's doing, and I wouldn't be engaged to my future wife, and
congrats, man.
This and that, or writing this book that I'm going to be doing. Like everything happens for a reason, and so, again, in retrospect, I Am Ghost could have been, a massive arena band, but again, we might have just broken up a year later. I don't know. Like you really don't know. Like so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really proud of Lovers Requiem, and I'm glad after almost 20 years, people are still writing me on Facebook or Instagram and saying, like, I get DMs all the time, like, that band changed my life, and you guys were so underrated. I can't believe, you guys
totally.
were bigger and this and that. And I'm like, well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad people still think of us, because that's cool.
You're an influence to actual musicians, and I'm still releasing music, man. I always think about you guys. I think you're one of my biggest influences. My Chemical Romance, you guys, Avenged Sevenfold. Those are my top 3 bands of all time, man. So that's thanks for the inspiration. So to change topics, the final question about music. Top 3 moments, some moments, some good moments where you felt I'm living in a dream, man. Like I've seen a lot of. I saw you guys appeared on a Megan Fox movie. I don't know if there was an I Am Ghost poster behind Megan Fox. I mean, you were about to make it to the big, enormous mainstream,
Yeah.
Top moments where you said I'm living the dream, and top moments where you said this is about to end. I'm not sure, where the doubt entered your mind,
Well, I can remember right now the first time I knew, like, holy moly, this is like insane, was we had just signed with Epitaph, and before Epitaph, before I was signed to Epitaph, my other bands growing up, I mean, I was a huge Epitaph fan. Like, I listened to all the Punkorama bands. I listened to like Rancid and Offspring, and Bad Religion and No Effects and all those bands were on Epitaph, and I was like, man, those are the bands I would. It was a dream if you were ever on Epitaph. And then I remember we got signed, and I remember the very first Epitaph Christmas party was done at this restaurant, and we all went. And I remember walking into the restaurant, and they had tables seated all through the restaurant with our names, the band names, on each table where everybody was going to sit for the rest of the night. It was like an open bar restaurant. It had I Am Ghost, but then the table over had like Rancid, and the next table over had No Effects and Offspring, and
Wow.
all the bands that were on the label, because they were all coming that night. And I was just looking at the place tag going, my God, we're right next to these bands that I just grew up on. We made it. Like, what the hell is going on? And then we go back to like Epitaph. When we were doing demos for Lovers Requiem, we were doing a lot of them at Brett Gerwitz's house up in Hollywood. He had a little studio in one of his rooms, and again, he's the guitarist of Bad Religion. He wrote most of their hits. At the time, they were all over the radio. I mean, that song "You and Me Are a Disease," like that was like literally on K-Rock like every 10 minutes, and so they were like the number one like radio band at the time. They had a bunch of hits, and the band we were doing demos all day. The band left. I was was the last one there, and Brett was just like talking about songwriting. And I remember he goes, "Here, follow me." And I went to it, like, he sat me down, he grabbed an acoustic guitar, and he was like singing me all his, like, their hits, like teaching me how to write a good hook. And I'm just like sitting there thinking, like, what the hell? How am I sitting right here next to Brett Gerwitz in his house?
Wow. And
he's like basically serenading me with his guitar, but he's like not serenading me, but like he's just like trying to teach me, like, this is how you write a hit song. And he was like, and he was just going through all their hits, and I was just like, my God, so that was the second time I was just like, this is insane. And then the third time I would say was when I looked, my whole life I loved Warped Tour, and I went to Warped Tour. I was that kid that was the first in line at Warped Tour, and I would, be the first one there, and I'd be that last one to leave. But the first time I saw the Warped Tour poster, 2006, and we were on the poster, like, for all the bands. They list all the bands, and then I Am Ghost was on it. They would go by alphabetical order, so it wasn't like, because that's why Warped Tour is so cool. They don't do the whole, like, put headliners at the top and put all the smaller bands at the bottom. They would just go in alphabetical, so you might be, like, next to, like, some other huge band. And we were on that poster, and I just couldn't believe it. I was just like looking at it, because we were never on a poster. I played Warped Tour a few times before, but we were always that band playing like the Kevin Says stage or the Ernie Ball stage.
Smaller stages.
The really crappy stages that are thrown in the very far section of the venue, and we, the doors are at 10, and we play at 10:15.
Yeah.
No one would see us, like, but you pay your dues, and now you're headlining, you're on the main stage. It was just like, I couldn't believe it. And then I guess the negative part would be when I knew it was over, was the last European tour. That was the one I was explaining. It was just, the shows were so good, like the shows were all sold out, and the kids were going crazy, but I was not happy. I was so depressed and so miserable that I knew. And we were on a full tour bus, and we had catered food, and we had like sponsorships, and we had roadies. I mean, I didn't have to do anything but walk out of the bus
and sing,
walk on stage and grab my microphone and walk off and go back. Like, I had to do nothing, and I was still miserable. And that's when I knew something was wrong, because you can't go from that and be that sad, like, so I just knew it was, for me at least, it was the end.
You considered to quit the industry in those moments?
Yeah, I didn't want to do music at all. I really missed, which is funny because it kind of like, it's a full circle. I used to do animation. I used to work for a movie studio, and I used to have my own office and draw all day and dream about being on tour and going, I want to get out of this fucking office and I want to see the world. Towards the end, I'm seeing the world, I'm touring, and I'm going, you know what? I really miss having a job.
Yeah.
Drawing all day. Like, I was like, because it was so, when you have a real job, like in a studio, you have like
stability,
health,
like peace.
Health, yeah, exactly. Health insurance. I had full everything. I had a constant paycheck. I knew exactly what that paycheck was going to be every week, you know. And I had a savings account, and I had money, and I had, you know, if I wanted to go buy this and that, I could do it. When you're touring and you're living off of like what you get paid per show, people again don't realize how much money it is to be in a band. We had to pay our management team, they get a percentage per show. We had to pay our booking agent, we had to pay our lawyers, we had to pay our merch companies, we had to pay, you know, if we sold a CD for $10 at a show, we only got like $1 off that CD. We'd have to give the rest to Epitaph, which is, I'm not like mad at Epitaph, that's just the way, you know, it is in the industry. Yeah. So we would be struggling, you know, sometimes like, okay, how am I going to pay my phone bill this month? How am I going to pay my rent? This and that. So that's why a lot of bands, they tour a lot, you know, they just tour so much because that's like the only way to make income.
What advice would you give, I don't know, new kids that want to start a band or join the music industry right now? Do you have any word of advice, maybe?
The biggest one I would say is it's a completely different scene, so I don't know if it even work, but I know what got I Am Ghost to a certain level would be find five whatever you're a girl in the band or if you're a guy, find 5 people. I just say 5 because sometimes there's 6 or 7 people in the band, but find everybody that's on the same page. Make sure you got, if you decide, all right, these are the 5 people that I'm going to be in the band with the next couple years or longer, that they are all in the same book. Like they know this is what the image is going to be, this is what the song's going to be, this is what our stage show is going to be. Because more often than not, bands will just keep getting different members and they quit and they get another member and they quit, and you just don't want to do that. You want to find people that are just going to, you know, be there for the right reasons, and once they know what's going on, they, you know, my older bands, there'd always be some guy that just wasn't on the same page. He just didn't want to play the music, or he didn't want to dress up, or he didn't want to like he just stood there on stage and just was boring. Like we prided ourselves for, you know, having a great stage show. We pride ourselves for dressing up. We pride ourselves for the songwriting aspect. And then another thing I tell new bands is like, really, a lot of people are young and they're so excited. They just want to like put music out and play shows because they want to be cool on stage and they want to be rock stars. I say to people, just write the best songs you can before playing a show. Get 6 or 7 songs that you are so proud of. Like just work on that first before ever playing a show, and then make sure you're practicing a lot, because a lot of, you know, we practice 3-4 times a week, you know, so that's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah,
bands,
that's a lot.
A lot of bands will practice once a week, sometimes even once every other week,
once a month.
Once a month. But you see them live and you're like, yeah, that's why they sound like they play once a month, because they don't practice, you know. You know, I if this was 2006, I'd say promote yourself, but I don't know how bands now would even do it.
Upload your songs into MySpace.
Yeah, let's restart MySpace again. I don't know. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Steve, thank you so much. I wanted you to talk about the animation part. How was the transition from music to illustration to animation to drawing? Tell me about your book. How's that project coming along?
Well, after I stopped doing music, I decided that, you know, I've had this story written in a notebook. I had the concept written for years, and I just never had the time to like physically do it. I always wanted to do it. Maybe here and there I'd like work on a chapter, but it never accumulated anything until one day I decided I was doing a fun band. It was just for fun, called My Immortal Enemy.
Yeah, I remember.
Music.
Oh, sorry. Sorry for interrupting. Yeah. Do you think we're gonna ever hear the I Am Ghost demos of the third potential album? Do you think we're gonna have any platform to listen to your side projects to My Immortal Enemy?
I would have to talk to Justin and chat about that, because I physically don't have the demos. I know that Justin has them, and I think Chad still has them. they're all doing their own thing. I know Chad's married, has like 2 kids, and he's doing his own thing. And I know Justin's doing really well right now. And
man, tell him that would be amazing.
I would have to ask them. I mean, I don't think they would care. I mean, why not? Like, we could put it out. I don't know how great. Again, they're demos. So
I know, but they're ideas, you know, like some great songs.
Yeah, you as a musician, you get it. Like you're a musician, so you go, okay, this is a demo. They tracked it in a room by themselves. No, there's no producer. But if we put it out and some other kid who's doesn't understand the industry, they might be like, wow, this sounds like shit. Like,
it doesn't matter. The idea is what counts.
We'll see. I think I did everything on like 1 take. I don't think I even like cared because it's a demo. We just wanted to like get it down, you know. But I mean, I wouldn't care. I think I look back at I Am Ghost just has such good times, and me and Justin and Chad, we still all talk, and you know, Gabe just hit me up yesterday about something.
I offer myself to mix it and master them, and you can release it, man. I mean, I can. Yeah. I'm also a producer, so I could do that and give him to you.
I don't even know if we even have like the individual stems. I don't know. We might just have like a MP3 of it. I don't even know. Doesn't
matter because AI. That's one positive thing. There's a lot of negative things, but one positive aspect of the AI part is that you can do a lot with demos, man. I can do that.
Oh, really?
I isolate the stems
with
AI. So I don't know. That's the offer, man. I can work on them. I could send them to you, and you decide where and how to release them.
Yeah, I'd have to contact Justin to see, hey, do you even have those demos anymore? He keeps everything though, which is hilarious. He still has all the Lovers Requiem individual track.
Oh, man.
From Elvis Basquet. Elvis, because at the end, he gives you everything. After it's mixed, mastered, it's in stores. Yeah. You get everything on a drive, like down to each individual track, and that's what, like, a lot of times too. When we started touring without Kareth, we were playing the backing tracks because we played it with Click anyways. So, but we still wanted violins live. So it was weird because people would come see us and they still hear the violins in the background, like live. And people were like, "What the hell?" Like looking around, like we wouldn't do backing tracks with vocals or anything, but just like just Kareth's parts. Maybe there's a if there's like a cool evil keyboard part going on, we'd have that backtracked. So stuff like that, but he still has everything, so it's hilarious. You know,
man, it would be amazing. I don't know, just consider it. I could produce it. I've been doing some songs. I did some songs with Ronnie Ficaro and Tim. So
cool.
Yeah. So yeah, think about it. It would be a great project, man. It would be an honor.
Yeah, I was doing another band, and then we weren't, like, again, it was like once a week, once every other week we'd practice. It wasn't like anything crazy. And it's funny because what happened was, what kind of changed everything was COVID. When COVID hit, we played one show, and we played, I think it was in January or February, the month before everything was closed down. I remember we played this show and it was empty because people were already like scared of COVID. It was already all over the news, and we were like, what's going on? Like, why is there no one here? Because we're not like massive, but also we're not like, we still have, you know, a decent fan base. And then I just remember a lot of friends were like, yeah, I'm not going out. They've got COVID. And I'm like, oh, you're right. And then a month later, it was lockdown. And so I had nothing to do after everybody was locked down. And so, you know, I was like, this is the perfect time to work on this book. So I brought it back from the dead. I started writing it. I began from chapter 1, and I just kept going. It's finished. The book's called Dear Mother Bones. It's an actual novel. It has a lot of artwork in it. It's not. People keep thinking it's a graphic novel. It's an actual novel, but it has a lot of chapter art. I do everything, drawing it, penciling it, inking it, coloring. So the book is finished. It's just being edited as we speak, and that's going to take a while. And I have some issues with my eyes. I need to get surgery. Yeah. I have cataracts on both my eyes, but my right eye is really bad. So I had to stop drawing the book for the past few months now, or the past month. I haven't drawn anything, which is funny because I used to draw every single day for like 8 hours, or less. But because of the eye surgery, I'm unable to like finish the book right now. So after the surgery is done and after my eyes are all back to normal, I'm gonna, you know, finish up everything. I was hoping the book would be released this year, but because of the surgeries, we're probably looking at like a 2026 release.
That's great. Well, man, we can wait to check it. You had previously a graphic novel, right? Like.
Yeah, I did one a long time ago, 2000 and maybe 2012. I put out a graphic novel called Lovers and Kings, and that was just. Like I said, I was working a job doing animation at the time, and graphic design, and that was just more of like a fun project. And I just printed 500 copies, like physical, actual copies. And I said, once those sell out, I'm done. Like, I'm not gonna keep, because I just wanted to continue doing what I was doing job wise, and then so that book sold, and then it sold out, and then I kind of moved on to something else. So, but Dear Mother Bones is going to be a series of novels. So book 1 will come out next year, and then I'll start book 2 and book 3. It'll keep going hopefully for a little bit, because the story is so big, I can't fit it all in one book.
How would you define the synopsis, like the premise of the
easiest way to say it, because it's a detective horror fantasy, and people say, what the hell, that's kind of big and ominous, but also like random. I would say if it was a movie, it would be like if you mixed like the movie with Brad Pitt, the movie Seven, with like Pan's Labyrinth.
So see, like
it's very like dark.
Okay.
Very dark. There's two detectives in the book. And if you imagine, very dark and screwed up movie Seven mixed with like Del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth.
Even like Silent Hill-esque vibes, maybe?
A little bit, yeah. I could see some parts, yeah. Definitely, it's definitely it's like it's a mystery murder, but with horror aspect. It's something that I've been working on for like 5 years now, since COVID hit, so 2020.
How did you deal with COVID? It's like a collective trauma, don't you think?
We had the worst in Santa Cruz, because during COVID in 2020, everything was locked down, and then we had the biggest wildfires in California history going on, and so I had to evacuate for an entire week my house, because the flames were literally coming up the hill. Luckily, the house wasn't burned down, but it was crazy. All of Santa Cruz was on fire. All of Northern California was on fire. Plus, we had COVID, so it was like, it looked like the end of days, like literally, like Silent Hill, like little ashes. The sky is just full of like smoke and ashes, like landing on your car for like 3 weeks. It was just like everything was on fire, and then we couldn't go anywhere because of COVID. So it was a hard time to be alive, but we got through it. So,
well, here we are.
Yep, we're still alive.
I just realized I have this icon of one of the games on my interface. Oh, so I don't know how I'm gonna edit that, but
it's okay.
It's called Your Top 3. I think we're gonna go with Your Top 3. I had it there the whole episode, so we're gonna go with that one. Your top 3, man. Okay. Your dream collaboration, man, with 3 singers, maybe.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah,
that's a good one. It's funny because it's probably not gonna be anything to do with like the metalcore scene. It'd probably be something like, because I love Elvis Presley. I love singing his songs. Me and my fiance's like song, is an Elvis song. So that'd be really cool if he was still alive to do something with him. And then it's funny because when I grew up playing music back when I was 19, I grew up I lived in Malibu for a while, and then I lived in Long Beach. And I was really into like Sublime. I don't know why, but they were so awesome.
Sublime?
Back then. They still are awesome, but obviously Bradley died. Actually, it sucks. His last ever show was in Santa Cruz. He played Palookaville, and then he got his drugs in Santa Cruz, and he went to the next show, and he overdosed in his hotel room that night. Man. So it's kind of weird. I live in Santa Cruz now, but I would love to have back in the day done a song with Bradley Noel. And then I was always a huge fan of a band. I mean, you probably know who they are. They're pretty big at the time. A band called Unwritten Law. You ever heard of them?
Unwritten? No. What genre is it?
Punk rock,
rock?
But more pop. But you should check them out. Check out the Unwritten Law, the Black Album.
So, okay, next game. First thing that comes to your mind. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
AFI.
Davey Havoc.
They Used.
Bert.
Tim Burton.
Johnny Depp.
Escape the Fate.
Ronnie Radke.
Christopher Nolan.
Ooh, Batman.
Disney.
The Lion King. I don't know why I just said that.
Avenged Sevenfold.
Avenged Sevenfold. Matt Shadows. M Shadows.
Nintendo.
Super Mario Brothers.
Lost Prophets.
Hell. Satan.
Man. They
God.
were such a good band. This asshole had to ruin everything, man.
I don't know them. I never met them. Never did a show with them. But I just watched a documentary on that asshole.
He ruined everything. I loved that band.
I feel bad for the other members because they are they're destroyed. Their careers are gone. They can't ever look people in the face again. You know what that guy did.
He destroyed a lot of things, man. A legacy, great albums. He destroyed a lot, man. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. The biggest issue with that, well, not the biggest issue, but it's just crazy to me because he didn't need to go that route. He had fame and fortune and fans, and he could have just been a normal dude. He's just a sick fuck. He would have done that if he was a garbage man, or if he worked at if he worked as a mailman or something. He was just mentally disturbed. So it wasn't even about being a rock star. It was just he was just a fucking asshole, demented, and he would have done it. Any job he would have had, he would have done probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. That's also what I thought. Steve, thank you so much. This was a great episode. Any other thing you want to say to your fans, to the people who follow you?
Just thanks for sticking by. When I say sticking by, meaning thanks for continuing to listen to, I Am Ghost, and I know that a lot of people are still like hitting me up like, when you guys gonna do a reunion show and this and that. We did one in 2016. We all got back together, and we did almost every song that we had on our both albums. We played for like 2 hours, but that was the last show. I don't like bands that say it's the final show ever, and then 3 years later they're back. It happens a lot. Like, it's to the point now where, like, how many times have the band Kiss have said the final tour? They've done it like 9 times. Like we're not that kind of band. Like, when we said 2016 was like the final show ever, that was the final show ever. And we may one day like do something for fun, like a video together, maybe do something in the studio, like a song, but we'll never. It's just it is what it is, because again, we all have different lives now, and we're all doing our own thing, and we had a great time. Yeah, no more shows.
That's okay. Okay, maybe just consider my offer, man. It would be an honor to work on those demos.
Yeah, have Justin see what he says.
Okay, perfect, man. Steve, thank you so much. Manadita, esto fue todo por el episodio de hoy. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Nos vemos hasta la próxima. Yeah.